Okay, so what is the lat test? Well, TPI's or Titleist Performance Institute, their lat test looks for overhead mobility, which is assessing the extensibility of this big muscle here on the side and back, which is the lat. Okay, so we look at both sides. Now, when we do this test, we're also looking at the ability of the thoracic spine, or that mid part of the back there, to extend. So when it comes to the lat, we need to be able to get in this position here. When it comes to the thoracic spine, we need to be able to extend. Now, extension in the thoracic spine is kind of the opposite of this, where here we're doing some flexion. We have lumbar flexion and thoracic flexion and some cervical flexion. If we're going to do thoracic extension, we're doing the exact opposite. Now, it's important. A lot of times, a lot of people will hinge at that low back, and their kind of rib cage in that mid back is just kind of coming along for the ride, right? So they're getting motion here, while everything up here is staying kind of stacked. We're not getting that relative motion of the thoracic spine. So instead of just hinging through here, thoracic extension is much more subtle, but it's an extension through that part of the back like that. A lot of people are limited in that type of motion. So here I'm doing the lat test. I have a club. You can also use a broom or a PVC pipe, anything to push our low back into the wall, right? So this is telling me that I've maintained pressure at that low back. When you're placing this club, make sure it's not too high up here in the thoracic spine. Make sure it's not just down here at the hips. I want it right in the middle of that low back, that lumbar spine. Keep it nice and flat. Now here, we want to make sure that our low back's flat to the wall. We know it is because this club is being pinned there. We want to make sure our mid back is attached to the wall, and then the back of our head. These are our three spots. Whatever position you need the legs to be in to get there, that's fine. As long as we got that flat low back, mid back, and the back of our head. Now from here, thumbs up towards the ceiling. Raise both at the same time, and see how high you can get before either this club falls and we compensate with that hyperextension like that, or you just run out of space to move. So if you get locked up here, then you get locked up here. The goal here is to get your thumbs to touch the wall. Okay, so after doing the lat test, if I'm getting tension here towards the insertion of that lat on the humerus, I'm thinking this might be an insertional type of tightness in that part of the muscle belly of the lat. Now, this doesn't rule out the thoracic spine for an extension issue, but I know to look very closely at that lat as well as that T-spine to make sure that both are working. If I'm feeling tension down here, or if my compensation is during that lat test, I feel this low back start to come off the wall, well, then we're doing exactly what we talked about earlier, where we think we're getting extension in that thoracic spine, but really that thoracic spine is rigid, and we're just getting a little bit of hinging through here to mimic a hinge type motion. So instead of, when I come up, instead of my thoracic spine be able to maintain this extended position, I compensate as I would normally do, maybe during a golf swing, and we bring this low back into a hyperextended state instead of getting that motion through here. Now I know I'm really going to look at that thoracic spine. We're going to take a very close look, as well as looking at that lat for extensibility issues. Now, why is this important for the golf swing? Well, we need the lat and we need that thoracic spine to be able to extend in these positions, especially at the top of the backswing. So as we come up through here, we need especially this side lat to be able to be extensible, to be able to stretch to get me in this position here.